here with Ray Davies, the sailing coach for Emirates Team New Zealand. They've just completed day 49 in the LEQ on the Hauraki Gulf. So Ray, how was it on the water today? It looked like some relatively light breeze, required a bit of a tow, but once you got onto a breeze line, it was great.
Yeah, we had a little westerly and then a northeasterly. The two breezes were fighting. We transitioned into the northeasterly and just had a glamour day in the outer Gulf out between Tiri and Rakino, and we played around in 12 to 13 knots of wind for most of the afternoon. And then sailed back around the outside of Mototapu and then got back into the westerly and had a nice sort of 12, 13 knot beat all the way back up the harbour. So it finally feels like summer's arrived.
Champagne sailing indeed. So when the LEQ is doing these long one-tack beats, for extended periods of time, what's the kind of data that you're kind of looking at on the boat as a sailing coach? Or are you mainly listening to the comms?
Yeah, no, we're still working on performance at the moment. There's lots going on just with, changes to the foil, and, there's always sail trim, there's always something to learn there. Technique and communication's pretty critical, but we had pretty steady conditions, which makes it a lot easier. So it's basically just manoeuvres and sailing accurately.
And I noticed at one point in the session you were doing a lot of tacks upwind. Was that mainly to focus on working on technique, or was it more getting comfortable with some different foils perhaps?
Yeah, just mainly technique again. We spend a lot of time working on technique and feel like there's gains to be had there. And I think as we saw in that last regatta in Jeddah, that manoeuvres is just so important. So yeah, we put a lot of time into that.
I was wondering, what's the difference in levels of focus and concentration required from the sailors on board when it's flat water versus rough water? Is it equal amounts of 100% focus, or is it slightly easier?
It's a much easier day for them. They're pretty comfortable in this boat. In the flat water, it's yeah, obviously you're not hearing the comms, but it's pretty chilled out on board. The conditions today were as good as it gets, so pretty easy sailing for the guys out there today.
And I was also curious to know, what would be the speed difference if you were to line up in an LEQ in your current setup versus the AC40s racing in Jeddah? Would most LEQs have a bit of a profound speed gain versus the AC40 setup, or?
Yeah, we're hoping our one has a huge delta. Yeah, no, like the boats, even those one design boats are really quick. When we designed those, we wanted to make them super competitive with this best technology we knew. We know this concept of boat needs to be built and the foils have to be mint to get the performance out of them. So those one design boats have incredible performance. So really there's not much in it.